You'd never guess it, but Casey Neistat's tattoos tell the story of how he went from being a dishwasher in Connecticut to being the world's biggest vlogger. Casey is a man of principles. All his charisma, his success, and his perspective comes from those principles. And if you look closely enough, you'll see that these principles are actually encoded into his skin. So let's take a look at the meaning behind Casey's 3 most important tattoos. Why work? Why do anything for that matter? Well, to Casey, it's simple.
Well, in short, I'm here. All of my dreams and aspirations are here. And the only thing in between these two is a bunch of work.
For creatives, the goal is simple.
Manifesting your creativity. Or to say it less romantically, it's like someone who can take their creative ideas and just turn them into something.
But how do you do that? By focusing on what is uniquely yours and what is the most honest and simple way of sharing that idea.
More stuff that you feel needs to be layered onto a story or a narrative sort of masks what's at the core of that.
That's what it means to find your voice as a creator. But your voice, it isn't something that you can just manifest through thinking really hard. It requires work, hard work. Do more. Hard work, and as we'll see later, a consistent commitment to publishing is the only way to continually refine your voice. It is the thing that closes the gap between your taste as a consumer and the quality of what you make as a producer. But then why did Casey get those words tattooed on him? Because it's a reminder that hard work gives you freedom.
I think I stole this from Bob Dylan, but maybe I stole this from Woody Guthrie. Freedom for me is waking up in the morning and going to sleep at night, and in between doing exactly what I want to do.
And ultimately, that philosophy led him to becoming a closer.
Someone who starts something and always finishes it, that is a closer.
Casey says that there are 2 types of people in this world. There are losers and closers. Someone who starts something and doesn't finish it, well, that's a loser. Someone who starts something and always finishes it is a closer.
A, B, C. A, always, B, C, closing. Always be closing. Always be closing.
Yeah, I tattooed that on my arm.
Being a closer, it doesn't mean that you don't ever quit anything.
And what that means is you can never let your desire for perfection prevent you from finishing something that's good. Because to finish something, even imperfectly, is to learn from it, and then you can move on and get closer to perfection.
And closing is also the antidote to aimless passion.
So my advice to people who are passionate and have passion, but don't know how it should manifest or how to sublimate that emotion, is to just start doing.
Most of the work comes in the final parts of any goal. The last 4 miles of the marathon, the editing in any video projects, these final stretches, they're often 80% of the actual work. And if you start 100 different projects, but you're not actually finishing them, well, you're not doing more, you're doing less. See, Casey believes in a particular way of achieving success.
Every success follows that single line, which is embracing the unknown, believing in that idea, and just stopping at nothing to find success, even though the manifestation of that success is never, ever what you'd imagined.
If you don't close whenever you do something, then you're probably not embracing that unknown. You're probably pulling your punches. But it's difficult. This path of closing requires you to be open to the randomness and the serendipity of life, which means that you need to be able to let go of your preconceived notions of what your goals were. In Casey's experience, he took a big leap from being a successful commercial director and filmmaker to then doing YouTube later on. It wasn't until years later that he even began his daily vlog series, and even then he had no idea that he would revolutionize YouTube the way that he did.
So on one end of the spectrum, we've got your daily vloggers in 2014, 2015, sharing every aspect of their daily lives into a camera. And on the other end of the spectrum, we've got this TV show that I made a decade ago where I share little stories from my lives as short movies.
What Casey did was merge these 2 genres to elevate the vlogging medium as short films. and he increased the quality of the videos by lugging around a DSLR camera instead of the traditional light point and shoots that other people were using. And he didn't stop there. He used tripods, shotgun microphones, but the most impactful decision he made was to incorporate the narrative structure of films into his vlogs.
Story is golden. Story sits atop of that gigantic pyramid that is filmmaking.
It's undeniable that Casey has a unique appreciation for human life. And in a TED Talk, Casey speaks about his experience working for a charity called Treat the Pain, where he delivers morphine to different victims of AIDS in Uganda.
One of the projects I did with Treat the Pain was I spent some time in Uganda, and in Uganda, we delivered morphine to people dying of AIDS in the rural Uganda, in the middle of Africa. It took us like 10 hours to get there in a Jeep, and we just give them painkillers so they can die with dignity.
Maybe Casey's deep appreciation of life comes from various near encounters with death. At 25 years old, he was in a Vespa accident that destroyed his entire right femur. But the crash could have killed him pretty easily too. And then in 2010, Casey went to Afghanistan as a journalist with his friend Scott Campbell, who's a tattoo artist himself, and he was encountered by Roger Sparks.
That's Roger.
Roger was a parachute jumper and a veteran in the Army for 20 years. And after his service, Roger became inspired to start tattooing as well after meeting Casey and Scott.
There was 3 gentlemen there that wanted to create a video about the romance of combat and tattooing. I still could not shake the healing effects that the tattooing had, and I basically started tattooing myself.
And it was Roger that inked Casey's peony tattoo, a flower that samurais in Japan adorn themselves with too. In Japanese culture, the appreciation of nature has always had this deep cultural value. Nature and natural living materials provoke a sense of transience and beauty in life, which resonates with the Buddhist teachings that are popular in Japan. And so samurais embrace this motif as a way to celebrate the beauty of their dangerous lives in the present. And the peony flower encapsulates this perfectly, with this complex array of petals and bold colors too. And so it makes sense now that Casey and Roger, who are both intimately familiar with death, that they would get this tattoo as a way to celebrate their appreciation for life. If you want to see more videos about performance and hard work, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and check out this video about Kobe Bryant.